Hi everyone, this is a brief tutorial about how to answer DeltaMath problems in this assignment right here called Solving Linear Rational Equations. Notice that Ms. Heller-Bramblett is assigning all of these problems. So I'm going to click on that and we'll go directly to that assignment. Okay, notice it says I currently have a score for this skill, which is awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do when we look at linear rational equations and equations like this is that we are going to focus on the strategy number 1 and step 1, which is to cross multiply. All right, so we're going to cross multiply, but it's a terrible R and C. Let's fix that. Okay, C-R-O-S-S, cross multiply. This is a skill that you've had for a long time in your math career, but basically what we're going to do is multiply this 3 times this x plus 8, and we're going to multiply this 8 times this x plus 5. All right, so let's give that a try. I'm going to rewrite the problem up here. X plus 8 equals 3 over 8. And the first thing I'm going to do, change color here, is I'm going to multiply these two times each other. All right, so this is going to be 8 times x minus 5. All right, so that was step 1. Maybe this is all step 1. And then step 2, I'm going to multiply this side. So we're going to get 3 times x plus 8. All right, so our next step is to distribute. So step 1 is cross multiply. Step 2 is distribute. This is where some of the class gets in a little bit of trouble. Remember, we got to take this 8 and we have to multiply it times both elements here, the x and the negative 5, and we have to take this 3 and multiply it times both elements, the x and the 8. All right, so let's do the first one. We have 8 times x, which is 8x, and 8 times negative 5, which is negative 40. Let's go to the other side and do the same thing. And we're going to have 3 times x, which is 3x, plus 3 times 8, which is 24. Now we use our awesome algebra skills to solve for x. All right, so I'm going to go back to my blue color here. So step 3, solve for x. Now in this one, we would have 8x minus 40 and 3x plus 24. Remember, we want this to look like x equals when we're done. So anything that's not an x has to be on the right side, and the x needs to be by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 40 to this, and so I get 64 on this side. And the next thing I'm going to do, just to save a little space here, is I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Subtract 3x from both sides. And on this side, I'm going to get 5x equals 64. And we're going to get x equals, using our calculator. I can't use the calculator here because it keeps, so I'm going to use my calculator. 64 divided by 5, and that gives me 12.8. So the answer is 12.8. So I'm going to put the 12.8 in my answer section there. To do that, I have to get rid of all this writing. So I'm going to put the answer is 12.8. Submit answer. Yes, that's my answer. And we get a green check. Notice in the description, it goes through exactly the same steps that I just did. And actually, a couple of them are in a little more detail.